Yo, what is good everybody? Welcome back to another video on Rune Slayers, and today I'm gonna help you guys run through the different tiers of resources you will encounter throughout the game, which will include ores, logs, and the fiber. These three are the main components, the primary materials you'll be needing to craft tools, armors, and even weapons with to progress in the game. And I'm gonna try to give you guys the best and most optimal spots to farm these materials, and we're gonna go through this just like rankings. So for example, the first rank would be copper, and in the last rank would be like Mithril, which is the final ore or tier of resources you'd get in the game. So without further ado, if you guys have any questions or you want to leave a comment, leave it down below. And while you are down there, please like, subscribe, and turn on the noties because it's all free and it helps me out a ton. Now, let's begin with the first tier of resources that we're going to go after, which is going to be the big three, the one that we always want to start with, and that is going to be copper, oak wood, and then the fiber, which is going to be cotton. So let's make our way over to Wayshire, which is going to be the starting town where everybody is going to begin. So here we are, we just arrived at Wayshire, and the first method in getting copper is of course going over to the blacksmith in this little hut right here. You can actually buy copper from him for copper. As you can see right here, copper goes for 75 copper. A bit counterintuitive, but hey, if the blacksmith wants to do it, let him do his thing. Now, if that's not good enough for you, the other way to get copper ore in this game, like naturally, is to go east of Wayshire, and then at the very end over there, when I reach it, there's gonna be a cave to the left-hand side, and in that cave, there's gonna be a bunch of copper. As you see right here, there's around 5 nodes of copper that you can mine. Now for the logs, oak is actually found really easily near the copper area that I just showed, near the church. As you can see, there's a bunch of oak trees that you can chop down if you really wanted to. And then finally for the cotton, if you head north of Wayshire and arrive near the king slime spawn area, you'll actually see that there's around 5 cotton deposits. There's one right here, there's another one right here next to this rock, there's a third one in between these two little grass blocks, there's a fourth one all the way down there in between a bunch of tiny rocks, and then finally the fifth one is right here next to this slime. So if you have a cooldown and you're not that patient to wait for it to spawn back, what you can do is you can press M, leave your game, exit, and then of course server hop, and you can just continuously do it until you get the resource that you need. Now at this point you'll probably already have copper tools, so what we can do now is we can move on to the next tier of resources, which is going to be the iron ore, the pine wood logs, and then flax. So first of all, let's talk about the iron ore. So the easiest and biggest deposits for iron is probably going to be in the goblin caves. So right down here, if you follow my character, and you go up this one ramp over here, you can actually see that there's a ton of iron deposits ready to be mined. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 total iron deposits. Now for the pinewood logs, we gotta head back to Wayshire, so I'll see you guys there. Now once you're back at Wayshire, this time instead of heading east, you want to head southwest, and what the pinewood looks like is this thing right here, this giant tree with a bunch of little wedges in between, as you saw right there. And then flax kind of looks like cotton, but just with green leaves. And then a cool little rotation that I like to use for this area is of course that one flax that I just picked up, the pine tree that I just cut down, and this second flax right here, and then all the way in the back, as long as you don't aggro the mob right there, there's another pine tree that you could chop down, and then finally a third flax you could pick up right here. So you could do that tiny rotation for all those resources. Now with those being obtained, you can now upgrade from copper to iron, which will then help us move on to the next batch of resources, and that is going to be silver, elderwood, and then spider silk. So let's head on over to the next town where all those resources are. And in order to do that, just head north of Wayshire. Okay, so the next town, Ashenshire, we have arrived. So as always, we're gonna start off with the ore. So we gotta look out for these silver deposits, and the biggest one that I've seen is following this path right here. And right here. So in this tiny little cave, there actually is 4 silver deposits that you can mine. But not only that, you could also gather elderwood logs here. These 2 trees are actually very close to each other near this cave. So what you can do is you could mine down the trees, you could go in there, get the ores, and then you could server hop and rinse and repeat. Now let's head back to find the spider silk. All right, so we're back at Ashenshire. Now, instead of going fully east, you want to head to the right-hand side. And once you reach the middle part where the mob is, turn left, which is where the spider cave is actually at, and that is where we're gonna get our spider silk. In order to get spider silk, you actually have to defeat these spiders unless you're just fully stealthy, and what they're guarding is basically these little items right here, spider eggs. Once you harvest them, of course, you're gonna get your spider silk, but the best spot that I like to use is a lot deeper inside the actual cave. So go ahead and follow my character. And right down here, there's a giant spider web that actually has 2 spider eggs for you to harvest. But not only that, if you go all the way to the left-hand side and you don't fall down there, there's 2 more silver deposits to mine as well. All right, so that's the next batch of resources done. Go ahead and create your silver tools. And now let's move on to the next area, which is going to be at Lakeshire. And in that town, you're going to try to collect the following 3 resources. There's platinum, Lakewood, and then lily leaves. So follow my character to head to the next area. Alright, so right across this river right here is the next town, Lakeshire. You can set your spawn in the inn because this area is pretty tough to kill by yourself and you might die at times, but go ahead and enter the elevator, talk to this NPC. I recommend you guys jumping multiple times while you're on the elevator because sometimes it's not thick enough and you fall through and you lose half your HP, so it's a little annoying, but if you jump, it lowers that by a lot. Now at this point, head towards the canyon-ish area, and down in this cave right here, this is the first mob you'll encounter when you're trying to get the new resources. So this is the Banshee, and they are very annoying. Like, they just do a ton of damage in general. As you saw, they barely did any hits to me and I lost almost a quarter of my HP. And look at my spider, they're almost at half. So you guys have to be really strong, really careful, or just really good at parrying to defeat those. But at the very right hand side, there's 2 deposits of platinum that you could go ahead and just mine just like that. And even on the left hand side, there's 2 more. And I forgot, there's also 1 more, but it's guarded by this Banshee. So if its back is turned towards you, then you can just walk right past it, but I aggroed it. Now once you pass the Banshee, there's also another spot where 2 platinums reside. Above the cave, it's right here. As you can see, pretty safe away from the Banshees. You can't get hurt unless players want to kill you. But a cool little side note, while you're mining these platinum ores, you could actually get rare drops that includes sapphire ore, ruby ore, and gold ore. And when you obtain those, you could actually use them as rare crafting materials or insanely good late game accessories and armor pieces. Now let's finally get the lily pads and the Lakewood. So walk through the beast camp. Just be careful in aggroing these guys. If you do get their aggro, just jump up on the hill, and eventually once you're far enough, they'll lose the aggro. But over here, as you can see, this is the Lakewood trees, and those are the lily leaves. Go ahead and pick those up. But an even safer area than just grinding it near this lake, you could walk down the river, and then in this vast ocean, for some reason, on the very left hand side, you could see that there's a tiny island that has Lakewood trees just sitting here with even lily leaves. Now with the second to last resources obtained, go ahead and create yourself the last set of tools, which is going to be platinum. And now we can move on to the last set of resources, which is going to be volcanic ice, mithril, ashwood, and Scrochleafs. And in order to get there, we actually have to go through the gate this time instead of going towards that area, and you have to pay a 5 silver toll. So go ahead and give that man your money, and here we are. And I like to call this place hell because it's really hot and there's lava and there's demons everywhere. And speaking of it being really hot, as you're just walking around, you're going to start seeing red things across your screen, kind of like a red aura. And what that basically means is that you're about to burst up into flames. And what you need to do is you want to head towards to one of these safe spots right here. My spider just wiped. That's just a little sad. But right here, these are safe spots called frost hollows. And in these areas, you could actually just cool off. You have no more heat, it resets, and you could go back exploring afterwards. But one other cool thing is that you can also mine the volcanic ice, which is one of the other materials. And what this does is that you could use the crafting materials for a ring that helps you with the heat resistance. Now, as you saw right there, I mined them and I didn't get anything. That's because there's a chance to actually get the ore. Now from here, once you're fully healed, just go ahead and follow my character. We're gonna have to do a little bit of parkouring with caution. So I'll see you guys once I make it to the area where we're supposed to be at. So right down here, there's a hole in the wall, and this is actually another safe spot, another frost hollow. Go ahead and heal up, and now we can move on to the third place we need to be before we start gathering our resources, which is down here. Now we want to be kind of sneaky. When his back is towards us, you could actually go ahead and collect that mithril ore right there, but I took his aggro, which is not good. So if you're not aggroed onto him, just jump over here, jump up, and run into this safe space. Oh my god, it's another frost hollow area, just doesn't have the ice, but you are safe in here and it resets your heat. Now, if this guy ahead, just walk in. All right, there we go. The imp is dead. Now, once you're healed, again, slowly walk out behind this lava fall and jump over to the next platform. And then you want to jump over to this third platform. And then in that little area, there's a bunch of mithril and resources that we need, just like the Ashenwood. But just like that, a fiend is guarding it. So you want to be very careful when crossing, because those fiends are really tough. So go ahead and just roll over and collect this Scrochleaf right here. That's one of the resources that we need. But instead of going in there and sacrificing our life to that fiend, what we can do is we could collect the Scrochleaf and head on over to another area to collect Mithril and Ashenwood. So if you just follow me and dash over to this next platform right here, there should be, yep, a group of Mithril and Ashenwood. So go ahead and collect those, and you could hop servers right here. If you start getting hot and you're about to burn up, I recommend running back to the Frost Hollow area and cooling down just like this. And there we go. And that's basically it. Now, if I missed out on something else or there's better spots to get these resources, please let me know down in the comment section. But hopefully this helped you out, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.